What's up, Simonics? Welcome to a no-code episode of our dev vlog. But aren't all these episodes no-code episodes? Yes, Simon too, that's right. But today we are talking especially about no-code and low-code tools. There's recently been an interesting article on the Ionic blog and also a Google acquisition and a Google shutdown in the market of these tools. Today I want to take you with me again on a little journey through the low-code, no-code market, explain what it is, take a look at a few of these tools, why they are great, even for developers. And finally, something related to Ionic with an egg.
Good news, everyone!
If you're interested in something really cool, you should definitely stick around until the end. Okay, before we get into the details, a quick recap on what low-code, no-code actually means, because I wasn't really sure about that as well. But I think if you know WordPress, WordPress is to some degree a low-code tool as well, because it allows people without really having coding skills to build websites. Another thing is Shopify. Shopify helps to easily create an e-commerce solution. I did this in the past, and actually you really don't have to write any code. So although there's not really any marketing message about low code or anything like this on the page, these tools help people that are not really developers to build businesses based on code as well. That is the general idea of this no-code market, and I always thought about this market as pretty much trash. Because I never saw the real value since I'm a developer, and I guess most of the active viewers of this channel are as well app developers. But it turns out these tools can be pretty helpful. Again, I use Shopify, I use WordPress, because they make certain parts of business a lot easier and you don't always have to write the full code yourself. Now, moving on to the latest news, one of the news that I got was in the beginning of January that Google announced that it's buying the no-code platform AppSheet. So that triggered my interest in what exactly this no-code might be about. So we will take a look at AppSheet in a second. But a few days ago, something else came out, and that was that Action Advised App Maker shutting down. Another part of Google is actually shutting down while they purchase or buy AppSheet. So really interesting news. Not sure why. One idea might be that App Maker was based on a pretty old API, and all the code you could export was just horrible. Imagine it being like, I think the editor was called Front Page back then, and like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, still remember it. The code of this was horrible. So they're shutting down the App Maker, which actually was a tool that a lot of people used. And Max from the Ionic team also wrote an article just recently about this, about the tragedy that people are locked into these tools since they can't really export good code. The code is really a mess, you can't work with it. There's a little outlook on this article that we will get to later, but before we do that, let's take a quick look at actually some of the low-code, no-code tools that I think are really interesting and look kind of good and are really helpful. Because AppSheet was in the news, I selected AppSheet as the first try, so I created a free account. Let's try to make a new app. I will start with a sample app, perhaps a repair manual, something really boring, just to see how these tools work. So most of them come with a lot of templates that you can start on. But also a lot of them really have connections immediately to your Google Documents. So this is a trend I see in a lot of these low-code or no-code tools, that they have a certain kind of database, which is actually a Google Sheet or a Google document. While we are setting up here, come on, set up my app. Looks like AppSheet is actually taking longer to setting up an app template than I need to run npm install in my Ionic projects. So from the first look, it looks like some sort of editing tool. This is my data section where I normally import my Google Documents. I had this with another application. This is the view. That's actually funny. Perhaps AppSheet should create a little game from this. I really highly enjoy playing around with this view. It's really satisfying. So on the side, it looks like I can see the preview of my application, and I can also open this in a new tab, which will show the somehow deployed application on one of their URLs. It kind of looks okay on a mobile preview. Maybe not super okay, but of course I haven't changed anything. This was just a template. Also, the animations are kind of okay, so really can't complain. Would love to see what the code of this tool is really. I'm not sure, but I can smell something related to React in this application. So yeah, you can pretty much change everything on the fly, the app logo. That's just what these tools are made for, right? Clicking something together, changing a few colors here and there, and creating a fast preview. But I can't find an easy option to get to the code of this app. I know I can share this application on with someone, but I don't know how to download this application. I really don't know. Perhaps that's just not the use case of this application to download it, but I can't find an option. The second tool I wanted to give a try is called Glide. From the outside, it looks actually a lot more polished than AppSheet, so perhaps Google should have purchased Glide. And I created one simple application based on a document inside Google Sheets, Sheets. So I defined a little courses and membership tab inside a document, and based on this, the app preview was actually created like this. The monthly and the prices and the courses, and I really enjoyed actually working with this tool. The menu is a lot clearer, not just this full AppSheet thing with too many options to customize. This can really be something that helps to build apps faster for people without coding skills. Right now I'm again a bit lost, but inside the settings I can easily switch between colors and schemes of this application. What I like about Glide as well is that I can go somewhere to share the application right through this little QR code or the link to the app. And when I now go ahead and scan the QR code, I can open it in Safari. And what you see is that the application actually got a notice for a progressive web app. So on iOS, I should add this to my home screen. So I'm going to add this. Instantly, I got the progressive web app on my device. And then just in about minutes, I have this progressive web application installed on my device. I haven't purchased any domain hosting. I basically built this application based on the data of this simple Google Sheet. And if I can do this in just about a few minutes and get this result, I wonder what I could do with more time and getting into this tool more. What I like, as I said, is hosting immediately as a progressive web app and makes life really easy to test a few things out. I'm sure there are a lot more things you can do with this kind of data integration. A really great tool, I think, but I can't find a way to export this thing as a code. So I haven't found a way to export it, but I tried to inspect it, and from the code, I don't know if any kind of framework was used, but I already see that we got these really strange classes and class names, and I think that is one of the reasons why these low-code tools have a bad reputation among developers. The people from your company inside the marketing might create a little mock-up and then throw it over to you developers, and you look at this code and you're like, what? And that is exactly the case with this tool and the reason why these low-code tools have a bad reputation. But let's take a look at one more really helpful tool. This tool that I will actually perhaps add to my own skill set or whatever tool belt is called Sheety, and it turns your Google Sheet into an API. Yes, it exactly does what this message is about. So again, using my Academy API sheet with the courses and the memberships, I use this in here. You just press sync and then you get a project-based URL that you can use as API. Of course, you also have to use course or courses, the name of the tap, and then you get the data just like with an API right here based on your sheet. Of course, for real applications, this might not always be the perfect solution, but sometimes you have a Google Sheet and sometimes you need an app, and if you combine this, you can use Sheety to create a super simple API in like minutes. You don't need to set up any server or anything, and that's the beauty of these projects. If you can use them in a way that makes your life easier, I think these tools are a great addition. It doesn't matter if you want to create apps with Glide, or if you want to create an API or a full website using Webflow or something like this. These tools can be really powerful for a lot of people. I almost forgot that I wanted to show you something new, and that is something I just found out called Ionic X, and that is the URL. I think you can remember that one. I don't know if they are already marketing this because I found this in the post that we saw in the beginning from Max just a few days ago as a little link. So perhaps it's just a little mission currently to see if somebody's interested, and I think a lot of people will be interested in this because this is like the intersection of these tools. Offer a great UI builder that people can use that are not developers, and give a little export that actually developers will use, and again you get a great tool. And it looks like this might actually be the tool for Ionic. So we've seen something like this with Ionic Creator, I think, in the past, which I don't know exactly. Is it still relevant?
This game is still relevant, goddammit!
And the message here is clearly low code meets full code, which means you can use it as a low code tool, just put in your input fields, connect your data, everything with drag and drop, but then also get great code for developers, which you always get with Ionic. You can build progressive web apps really fast, connect existing data. All of this looks really, really great. It looks like it is somehow integrated into Ionic Studio. Perhaps they also changed their mind about Ionic Studio. I don't know about this. If it is really a complete app platform, this might really be a huge step forward for Ionic users. So I have no idea what the time frame for this tool is, if we will see actually something in 2020 or later. Perhaps if Max or Matt or Mike or anyone is watching this video, you might want to join our comment and leave a little comment about this cool new thing that you're working on. Okay, that's it for today. I think the field of these tools is really interesting, not only for non-developers, but for developers as well. Hear me out. I don't think that any developer has to fear that somebody else is taking your job with these kind of tools. I think you have to see it from a completely different perspective. If these tools exist, if something like Ionic X exists, and more people come to the conclusion that they have great ideas and they can use this tool to build a prototype or first version of their tool, the result is actually that more of these people are looking for more Ionic developers. So with all of these tools that have still, of course, a limited capability, in the end, if you need advanced functionality, really custom stuff, a developer will be hired. And if more people use these tools and build great businesses around them, more developers will be hired to improve these applications. I see this as an opportunity for other people to come into the market and actually use the tools that we are as developers are already used to, and we can help these people to refine their vision in the end and make something truly great out of their products. What are your thoughts on low code, no code, and the whole market of these app creators? I would love to hear all of your thoughts right below the video. I hope this devlog episode helped you to understand what this market is about, why it exists, why we don't have to fear it as a developers. If you want to try something of these tools, I really recommend to give Glide or the Sheety app a try this week to create your own little APIs, and then I will catch you next week like always. So happy coding, Simon.